By the time I turned 21, I had already made $153,734.49 online. And I wasn't some prodigy. I didn't grow up dreaming of entrepreneurship, and I definitely wasn't born into money. I started out just like most people, sports, school, trying to figure out my path. But I built something simple that worked, and it changed everything. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how it happened, how I went from a broke college student, a failed basketball player, to building YouTube channels, getting monetized, getting demonetized, making and getting millions of views, thousands of subscribers, and stacking over six figures along the way. Now, my background, I was always interested in sports. Man, I loved basketball since such a young age, right? Basketball was my favorite thing to play, right? I'd always, be hooping, playing for different teams, for school, all of these different areas, right? Basketball was that area for me. And my dream was really to play in college, right? If there was one opportunity, man, I always wanted to play in college. Now, I had some height to me. I wasn't the tallest out there for sure, but AAU teams, school teams, anything you could think of, I always tried to play. And unfortunately, there were other people that were more talented and better than I was. Now, I had confidence on the court for sure, but we all know basketball is a super tough sport to compete at the top level. You got to have an insane amount of height. And although I was tall, I wasn't that tall, right? And even though, unfortunately, I ended up, I was going to college, right? I pretty much played in high school. I tried out for the college team. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I found the coach's phone number, and this is a D1 school as well. Ended up talking to the coach, but for that season, they had already filled their roster. And pretty much after I talked to the coach and after that point, I was discouraged. And I really had to figure out another route to go, right? I loved basketball, putting up shots, playing at the park, all that type of stuff, but sometimes you do have to switch routes when you see that a certain path is not going to work. And I know I had put a lot of time into sports, right? Of course, it's healthy, kept me out of trouble for sure. But I really had to figure out what was I going to do next. And I'm in school, I'm studying, I'm staying focused. And a lot of times I really was the type of person to stay away from a lot of the distractions and just a lot of the negativity and certain things that a lot of college students, get into, whether that's drinking, smoking, any of those type of things. It really was not my vibe. And that was because I was always so focused on sports that I knew if I wanted to achieve my goal that I wouldn't entertain those types of activities, And I'm not here to condone anyone or talk bad if someone does that or doesn't do that, right? That's your own choice. But in school, I started to meet more people, and I remember it was like it was yesterday, right? This was a school and a class where there weren't too many people of color in the class, and I ended up seeing two people that were in there aside from me. And after the class ends, we're walking out, and I go and I walk up to both of them and just introduce myself, trying to meet, some other people around there. And it's funny, we end up living on the same campus. Now, we didn't know that, and there are multiple campuses, but we ended up living on the same campus. So, and you have to take the bus to get there. So we all ended up taking the bus back to this campus, and we end up, becoming pretty cool friends over time, like very good friends. And they were interested and had a lot of the similar habits to I did, where they didn't smoke, they didn't drink, they weren't huge partiers. They just really wanted to succeed in school, and all these different other areas in fitness, all that type of stuff, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. We're hanging out all the time, very good friends. And what ends up happening is maybe a month or two down the road, one of my friends tells me he wants to tell me something that he's been working on, show me something. And he pulls up this YouTube channel. I remember it was like it was yesterday. And he had maybe around like 30K subscribers, and his videos were getting hundreds of thousands of views. And he told me that this channel was his. And I said, what? I could not believe it. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that this channel is yours, bro. Like, There's just no way. Like how? The amount of traction you're getting is insane. Like, how is this even yours? Clicked on a video, heard his voice, and now it's him, and I was shocked. But from that point on, he always encouraged me to start on YouTube. And even prior to that, I actually had been exposed to, Instagram pages, building Instagram pages. I remember it was my freshman year in school, and I was building Instagram pages where I built altogether 70K plus followers and millions of views on Instagram. But the problem was I really wasn't able to make that much money, right? I was trying to figure out, man, how could I make more money from these Instagram pages? I'm doing promos and all this type of stuff, but I really just couldn't figure it out. Like, I couldn't see how I could get a sports page monetized that well. And don't get me wrong, promo money is cool, but it wasn't as consistent as I would like. And from that point on, and after getting that encouragement from my friend, I started to dive into the YouTube side of things and start posting. And man, it was a grind. I was posting every single day, figuring out how to promote my channel from my Instagram page, figuring out how to get people to click a link, what will make them click. And I'm spending so much time. And I was so uncomfortable speaking on the camera at first. It was like, man, it just felt so awkward and weird to just be on camera. I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel great. This feels very weird. Like, it was very uncomfortable for me to be speaking into a mic at that point. But I kept pursuing, kept persisting, and long story short, I end up blowing up this channel, right? We're at maybe like 20K subscribers, something like that. It's performing very well. And I have videos doing super well in the niche. And what happens is, Shorts ends up coming out on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, man, Shorts looks crazy. Like, this looks like something that I see people getting crazy amount of views. I know it's kind of risky because it's a brand new feature, and I knew that there were risks that came with it. But I said, forget it, man. I'm going to take that risk. I'm going to post on here. And man, I make a short on a popular basketball player, right? A popular person, let's just say that. I'm not even gonna say basketball player. A popular person ends up going for millions and millions of views, maybe 13 million views. And even prior to that, I was consistently making a couple thousand on this channel per month. And I'm posting every single day. So it's like 7 days a week I'm posting. So it wasn't like I was just hanging out, this was some passive thing. No, I'm posting every single day. And I said, man, this is crazy to be making this much. I basically gained thousands of subscribers in a couple days. Maybe like 2-3 days. I gained probably like 10K subscribers or something like that. And I'm like, yo, this is insane. Like, how is this even possible that you could gain this many subscribers? But what's crazy is I started continuing to post on this channel, and I noticed that the audience that subscribed was a tad bit different than what I had put out. And I noticed that it seemed like my videos weren't performing as well. I was getting less and less views, and then I realized it. The people who subscribed into that short were different than the people that I originally had on the channel. And when I had this conflict in viewers, what happened was it just did not perform as well. So pretty much I kept making less and less money, and I had two options at this point, right? I can make another channel or I can keep posting on here. And I decided to try to ride it out. I continue to keep posting, and man, it's getting rough. I'm basically putting in more work, getting less money. I start spamming shorts and just trying to make more and more money, but things are not working out. And eventually, after I start spamming shorts, and I'm actually just taking other people's shorts and reposting them onto my page that were related to my niche, what happens? I end up getting demonetized. And what's crazy is this was just before I was about to graduate. And all that time, I had this idea in my mind that I'd be able to do YouTube full time on something that I enjoy doing. I end up getting demonetized right before I'm ready to graduate and go all in on YouTube. And man, when we talk about a rough period of time, starting from square one, having nothing behind you pretty much, and you have to just grind it out. That's exactly how I felt, because my two options were pretty much what? I pretty much have to work now, and what do? Do I wait for this channel to get see if I can get it remonetized, or do I make another second channel? And at that point, I said, man, I'm going to have to make a second channel because, one, I don't know what's going to happen with this channel. And it was just too risky to just wait, especially when the audience and my videos really weren't performing that well. So I decided to make a second channel. And this is right around when I'm graduating, man, and I'm feeling low. But I ended up grinding out this second channel as well. And long story short, pretty much both channels are still monetized to this day. And I was able to generate a just crazy amount of views because I knew the niche already so well, right? I knew the niche, I knew how YouTube kind of worked, and I was able to grow that channel relatively quickly, just posting every single day, right? And it's not like every single video did super, super well, but I was able to make it happen. And over that time, and this could have been around the 21 age, it may have varied a little bit in age, but around that time period and around when I was graduating, even after, again, in cumulative, I made over 6 figures on YouTube. And that was pretty much what showed me, like, man, I got obsessed with this business model, right? I got obsessed with YouTube, with posting videos, because it was something that I enjoyed to do. And if you ever had, an interest and you knew that there was something that you like to continuously talk about, and you're interested in kind of making money off of your passions, off of your interest, without having to spend, $1 million on different setups, and possibly, if you don't want to, not even showing your face. Well, click the link down below. I'm teaching everything that I know about building YouTube channels completely from scratch, right? And this is years and years of experience that went into this course. Now, currently, it's a pre-sale right now, but click the link down below so you can get that course. Peace.